with me. And we letting everybody know who got a dream. Yo, stay focused. Keep moving forward. It's on the way. Keep that dream alive. If you got a dream, don't look to the left nor the right. Let's go.
Your faith is in Jesus. Completion is here before you even begin. Dreaming big in my life in the future. Already knowing that it's not far. Having the passion to work towards Jesus. I'm gonna keep my faith and swagger going hard. Don't do the right. Just look straight. You don't have to fear no.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show. I am your host, Yolanda, and I am so excited about our special guest tonight. This woman I have known for a little while now. She served as an ambassador for Success Women's Conference and also the Level Up Summit for Kern Cherry. She's just a bundle of joy, and she's a comedian at heart. But anyways, before I bring her to the show, before I bring Miss Stephanie Byrd to the show, I want to ask you all to please share this broadcast out. Tag a friend, tell a friend, invite a friend, because this lady has a story that will change someone's life tonight. So again, I'll give you a few more minutes to go ahead and share it out, and we will be right back.
Welcome to the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show, where you will hear stories from people who have experienced hell on earth and have walked past hell to share their stories. You will also hear what they are doing now and how their businesses, nonprofits, and ministries were birthed from their past trauma. So let's empower the world, one story at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Yolanda Jerry.
And we are back. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. So as I mentioned earlier, my special guest is none other than Miss Stephanie Byrd. Miss Stephanie Byrd continually expresses a love and a true heart for God's people. She often couples that with love with her creative and unmatchable abilities to reach people from all walks of life right where they are in their journey. Stephanie has an innate ability to reach people, often the same people deemed unreachable by others. Stephanie also recently published her first book titled, Are You There, God? My Lemonade Has No Sugar. The story tells of her journey from being a safe haven baby to a joyous overcomer equipped to help others fly. Y'all heard me, I said fly. Her favorite quote is, the one who thinks they can and the one who thinks they cannot are both correct. So help me welcome Miss Stephanie Byrd to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Hey, Stephanie, I'm so happy to see you. You know, it's been a minute, girl.
It has. We actually had to catch up. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Stephanie, for saying yes to being on my show, the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show. I'm excited about what I'm getting ready to learn more about you, and with some of the viewers and people who are here tuning in and getting ready to learn about you for the very first time. So look, I'm just going to go ahead and start diving on into this because I know it's a whole bunch that you got to share with us, and I'm ready to receive it. Let others receive it, eat it, and digest it. So let's get started.
Let's go.
So let's do it. So Stephanie, I usually, most of the time I ask people who come to my show, I always start from, let's talk about their childhood. And talk about, what that was like for them and where they were born and raised. So if that's okay with you, please share with me and the audience where you're from and a little bit about your childhood, if you don't mind.
So I was born, so it's going to be a lot of blank spaces. I can't go like all the way through my childhood because a lot of that information I really honestly don't have. But I was born in Jersey City, New Jersey, 1986. So you know what kind of time it was around then, being in the inner city, crackhead hit the scene. I was actually what's known as a safe haven baby, which means that my biological mother, once I was born, left me in the care of hospital nurses. So after that, I'm assuming because no family member immediately claimed me, I was released to what's known as CPS, Child Protective Services, in New Jersey, where I stayed with the foster parent until I was about a year and a half, maybe close to 2. I actually got adopted by an extended family member, but it ended up being not the best situation. So I was in foster care after that until I was about 21 years old. And well, until I was 21, because you can only stay in foster care until you're 21 at the latest. And I emancipated out of care. So definitely a whole lot in between that. Definitely a lot of walks past different hells, if you will. I can remember I remember my adopted mom, and this is in the book that I just published. I remember she told me that the only reason that she adopted me was because her mother had told her that it didn't look right to be in your 30s without a child. So as I got older, I kind of processed that, like, so you really didn't necessarily have the usual motives present to bring this young person, this child who actually needed maybe a little bit more than a normal, for lack of a better term, baby would need coming into your house. The motives weren't even all positively there. So definitely rocky childhood. A lot of verbal, emotional, and physical abuse. A lot of teaching myself to black things out. Like I stated, there are a lot of things in my childhood that even if I sit and try to make myself remember, I just can't. And I learned later through therapy that that's your body and your brain's way of actually protecting you from those traumatic experiences. So,
Ooh, that's a good bit right there. All of that little chunk right there. That is a big chunk right there. Look, I couldn't even get it out. I was like, come off of mute, Yolanda, come off of mute. That's a lot. And just that little piece right there. And I, knowing, okay, you say you a Jersey girl. I ain't gonna, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm from the South, so I'm just saying.
hey,
But I love everybody. I love everybody. But I want to ask you, you talk about this being a safe haven baby, and you talked about your mom and the things that happened with your mom, and you talk about, being in a foster care system up until you were 21. Is that correct?
It
21
is.
years old. So can you go a little bit more in depth with what that experience was like being in the foster care system and some of the things that you had to deal with and some of the experiences that you were able to, or should I say that you had to go through, just knowing that you were in a foster care system, you weren't with your biological parents, and, how did that all make you feel, whether it was emotionally, spiritually, or anything like that?
Well, I will say that from my experience, because each young person that goes through that system has their own unique story, and I definitely want to honor and add value to that, and not generalize it as saying that, hey, this is everybody's experience. For me, it was a constant state of establishing identity. I actually stayed in a number of foster homes, but I also stayed in group homes, and so there's always this question of who am I? Who do I want to be? Because you find yourself in limbo having more than one life, right? Because as you're, for example, in high school, I wanted to have this normal life, right? I didn't want my peers to know that I was in foster, so I present this life, like, everything is completely normal, even though they knew group home girls, they had already grouped us all together, but I still found this desire to establish myself in that identity of just being normal, or whatever that term meant. And then you have the life that you have to navigate as being in foster care. So you have to navigate having therapists come in and out. You have to navigate meeting a judge every 6 months who's judging the next 6 months off a paper that he's reading in 30 seconds, maybe a minute and a half if you're lucky. So, for example, I remember I had a hearing. It was just a continuance hearing, the regular 6 months hearing, but I had really gotten into some trouble at the group home, like some behavioral stuff recently. So it was like it had just happened in the last 30 days before. Well, the way that was in the paperwork shaped as if the entire past 6 months had just been me just doing this behavioral, just defiant stuff. And it wasn't like that. And so, the judge was like hard on me, and we're still like super friends to this day. He gave my husband his blessing to marry me. It's super dope now, but he was real hard on me because he's looking at this microscopic picture. And if I could explain that, it's literally showing a snapshot to all these different people all the time and having to live in their translation of that snapshot. For example, there was an instance where the youth pastor at the church, this is while I was living in the group home, the youth pastor and his wife were kind enough to invite me to their home for Thanksgiving. That's super amazing, right? And they were so cordial, so amazing. However, I did have this moment that was emotionally overwhelming, if you will, for me, because this is not my family. This is a holiday. I feel some kind of way because these people sitting here eating stuffing and pumpkin pie, because one no dressing girl, but they're sitting here eating, they're enjoying each other, and I don't fit in. So what I did was, it was literally emotionally too much for me, and I stepped outside. I just needed air. It felt like the walls were closing in on me, because as a young person, you're already trying to figure out who you are. It was all too much. Well, she translated that as me being ungrateful because I spent most of the evening outside. And she told that to the group home staff. And I was on restriction for 30 days for that. Do I still sound better at 34? But it seemed as if you didn't understand what was really happening. You processed it as if, hey, and I was grateful for that opportunity to have that, but it literally was me where she saw ungratefulness was actually an identity crisis.
Wow. So although you were just trying to maneuver right through the things that you were trying to maneuver, we're trying to figure things out and trying to how to process day to day, they were taking it as something totally different, a whole totally different behavior. Oh my goodness. So, man, I can't even imagine, because I've never, even though I have, now a nonprofit, for foster kids, along with my partner, Shira Windsor, for foster kids aging out of foster care system, I still can't even imagine, being in a system that long, right? Going to a parent's house or going to visit somebody for the summer is totally different than being somewhere where you don't know people. You're going from place to place, or, you're trying to figure things out, and you see people coming and going and leaving. And then you got these people putting pressure on you when it comes to them thinking you're acting out, and then they put you on restriction and they do all these different things to you, that you're just like, what gives? So with that being said, I know that had to be a tough time for you, Stephanie.
It was. And after that, she and I are Facebook friends. And I remember I apologized to her. It's weird, right? Because that goes back to that identity crisis. I felt, even as a grown woman, the need to apologize. Now, I wasn't apologizing necessarily for what I did. I was apologizing for not being able to convey my feelings in a way that she understood. Because even as a pastor's wife, that would have been an amazing moment to really be the hands and feet of Jesus, right? In that moment, to say, hey, this is another way that we can extend our reach and love on people. And I kind of, dealt with myself, like, why did you still feel the need to apologize? And even sometimes you just really have to be in a position to want to understand, even if it means looking at it through a lens that doesn't necessarily fit your eyes. So.
Wow. And I do agree with you. You would think that someone who's, like in a pastorship role or in a leadership role somewhere in a church or, a Christian, then you would think that they would be more understanding of what you're going through and being able to continue to pour into you instead of doing what they did to you. So, and you said that you all have reconnected, you said?
Oh yeah, and that's something else that I also had to deal with. So I had this conversation because I actually got super close with the youth pastor of their church. So the senior pastor is who I was with for Thanksgiving, but the youth pastor actually made his family made a dynamic impact on my life, right? So young people who are in foster care, the don't hear what I'm not saying, but foster kids is like a cringe-worthy term. It's youth who are in foster care. So he made like this, taught me how to drive, took me to get my license. I went on trips with these people, like everything. I really, in my mind, thought I was in these people's family, right? So even as we got older and technology changed and social media made it to where we could easily connect, I'm still interacting with the youth pastor's daughter as if like you my sister, right? Like we have this whole bond XYZ. And she pretty much told me in the message, life goes on. And even as an adult woman, that was a sting because for you, life goes on. But for young people who continually reside in this traumatic tango of who am I versus who's for me, who's not for me, who's in my forever picture, who's seasonal, who's not, there's this continual limbo. And that stung to know that something that was so profound and such a prominent part of my life was really just something that you were like, oh, that was, that's dust in the wind. And so I have to continually be cognizant of the fact that what is something that was very impactful for me may just be something that was a check off someone else's box. So, and that sucks a little bit, right? Can we say something? But you have to use that as a step that's made for you to also continue to elevate.
Right. So even going through all that, you still, I always tell people, even through some of the deepest and darkest moments in your life, there's always still some good in that.
Definitely.
And you're able to maneuver and keep pressing on. Well, Stephanie, I still want to get a little bit. I'm gonna keep digging now. I'm gonna keep digging. I'm gonna keep digging, but before I keep digging and wanting to know more about who you are and your story, I want to go ahead and go to my first sponsor for tonight's show, and that is none other than Miss Kern Cherry, the visionary of Power Up Summit, Level Up Summit, and also K Connections. And we'll be right back.
It's time to power up your visibility, and you're all invited to a free masterclass with the Butts in the Seats Queen, Kern Cherry. On August 3rd, learn to increase your visibility, grow your community, and earn more stages. For free access to the Visibility Masterclass, sign up at CoachKern.com. VIP access is available. It's time to power up your visibility.
All right, and we're back. And for those of you who are interested in this visibility masterclass, you can go to www.coachkern.com. That's CoachKearn.com for the visibility masterclass with Coach Kern Cherry. All right, Stephanie. So let's get back into this. Let's get back into this real conversation. So now, I know you went through the things that you went through with the foster care system, and I know that was traumatic, but were there any other underlying things that you had to deal with, throughout your life up until this point that you had to overcome?
Help me bring that from a broad to a more specific.
So you dealt with the things in the foster care system, but sometimes people deal with, loss, or they dealt with, abuse, or they dealt with any of those type things. Did you experience any of that throughout your lifetime?
So yeah, when I was speaking about being when I was adopted, and I always want to not paint her in like the worst light ever. No, that's not what I'm doing, but you have to, my truth is my truth. And I'm also learning day by day to stand on that. Sometimes we do have to say things that offend other people, because who want to see their dirty jaws hanging on the line, right? But I understand it more, but a lot of the abuse that happened was really not understanding how to connect with me. I remember, and this is before, because I found out I was adopted on a fluke, to be honest with you. It wasn't like this wholesome, you found out. This was like on some angry, I'm mad that somebody else spilled the beans type stuff. I was never supposed to find out that I was adopted. I was actually raised to think that my biological grandmother was like, how everybody has the old auntie and we just call them ain't such and such, right? So literally this lady lived next door to us. I cannot make this up. This is like, I'm just calling her ain't such and such, you know what I'm saying? Because they will try to come back to the girl. But so I'm just calling her, auntie. And one day, I guess she got like fed up, right? Let me show you how deep this gets. So who I thought was my cousin, because this is how they're raising me. Like this ain't Ajime, this cousin such and such. I come to find out that this is my biological maternal grandmother and my biological maternal aunt. So you mean to tell me that I am living next door to my my biological mother's grandmother, and I can't make this up, and my biological aunt, who is in the same city. I have and that's what I think started to cause that. That's when I start feeling a sense of loss, if you will, because why didn't anybody fight for this little girl? Y'all seeing this lady knock me every way but right. You're watching this, you're hearing the stories, you're seeing that I'm having to take days off school while wounds heal. You're seeing how my head is down all the time. You live in the exact same city that you live next door. You're living next door, and nobody fought for this little girl. Nobody fought for this little girl. And I was like, and the way I found out, I'm looking at the moment right now. We were outside and we were just sitting in the grass, and she asked me, she said, "Who am I?" And so, it's like a little kid, you like, that's the dumbest question ever. Like, is dementia setting in already? What are we doing? So I was like, "You are Aunt Ajime." And she was like, "No, I'm your grandmother." So then my cousin said, "Who am I?" And I was like, and they say the kids, the crazy one. That's how I'm thinking. So I was like, "Well, you cousin Chris." And she said, "No, I'm your aunt. Your mom's name is this." And they took me upstairs, and they had all these pictures of people that I don't know. And I remember being in awe of that. But in the back of my mind, I was like, how does somebody have the answer to a question and watch you struggle to find it all this time? But a lot of that was because I guess my adopted mom had threatened them. I don't know, because after that, she didn't want me around them. She didn't, you know what I'm saying? But you already poked the bear now. So now my whole life I'm going to have all these questions. So, and that's when I was talking about the motives were not there, because now you're answering my questions, but you're spewing them from hate. Your mama wasn't nothing but a crackhead and all, because now you're angry because that lid has been snatched off. And now I have all these questions. So yeah, I had to write a book.
Ooh, wait a minute.
Can you imagine living next door? I cannot make this up. Like, lived next door. And nobody fought for this little girl.
My heart would have been ripped out my chest to know that like next door, and this secret is literally like right next door.
The answers to my questions are in arm's length, and I didn't have them for so many years. I think I was more concerned with, why didn't anybody fight for me? You know what I'm saying? Like, so you have, because I know you ear hustling, these are apartment walls, you know what I'm saying? So you know that this situation is not made with the best ingredient, so therefore the recipe is tainted. So why didn't you step in? And this is your daughter's daughter. And I'm not suggesting that a maternal relationship is more significant than a paternal one. Don't hear that. But what I am saying is this is your granddaughter. Like, I couldn't imagine. I'd be like, you're just gonna have to be mad at me. This is, I'm not your auntie. I'm not even finna fall into, and I just always wondered why no one, I don't know. I still don't really know.
I was just about to ask you that because I'm like, now that the secret is out, the cat is out the bag, and they have no choice but to say, okay, I'm, you know, this person who's biologically related to you. Still, nobody gives you answers of why did it, how can you be, I can't even imagine having to be right next door to somebody I know is related to me by blood, I see all the time, and I hear about all the time, and act like they're a stranger.
Isn't that crazy? I can remember I ran away when I was 16 on this whole journey of I have to find out who I am. I don't know if I had watched Lion King too many times away. So I went on this whole journey, and literally one of the sisters of my biological mom, when I walked in the door, I lied to you not, Dr. Jerry, that lady looked as if she had seen a ghost. This lady had never seen me in my life and knew exactly who I was. She was like, oh my gosh, you look just like your mom. And I'm like, I have Facebook chats in the last 12 months where I have chatted with people who have been my Facebook friend under the guise of we're cousins. And I did this whole, let me just ask them some questions because I'm watching people's lives continue as if I never, could you imagine? It's like in that like that Patrick Swayze movie Ghost, where you're watching life go on, but it's as if your part of it never existed. So I'm texting cousins and I'm like, hey, do you have answers, blah, blah, blah. Literally, one cousin told me I didn't even know she had a fourth daughter. They
What?
thought that my biological mom only had 3 girls. I'm the youngest of 4 biologically. They didn't even know she had a fourth daughter. And it's something. You got me riled up. Thanks, Dr. Jerry. But I'm just kidding.
Hey, look, somebody, but see, Stephanie, this is the whole reason why I do this show, because yes, there's a lot of shows out there, but people need to hear real conversation, real truth, just like this, because somebody right now is going through the same stuff that you probably already been through, and they need to figure out how do I overcome this, or how do I start my healing journey from this point moving forward. So I'm grateful and I'm thankful for you sharing your heart. I know I got you riled up, but people need to hear this,
right.
Stephanie. I'm grateful.
So I mean, it's a lot, and I tell my husband this all the time, and it's something. And a part of it I'm realizing is I feel like it's the Lord's protection, because I honestly will get to the same point with different people and it stops. The communication stops. They don't respond to my emails. They don't respond to my messages. And that lets me know that it's something bigger than I even know about how I came to be, who I'm connected to, and what's really up. Because if it were not, people wouldn't be so headstrong to withhold this information from me. However, I do understand with revelation comes new warfare. So
Right.
if God's rejecting it, he's protecting me from it. And I'm grateful for that. But your girl still be like, somebody knows something. And as soon as I make it to where it's able, if the Lord releases me, I definitely want to hire like a PI to get those answers, because I would be heartbroken if my children did not know I exist. I actually was told, put this in your coffin. I was told that my biological mother, who passed away when I was 12 years old from complications from drug abuse, actually was asking for me on her deathbed, right? I didn't find this out until later. My adoptive mother said no, because you didn't need to see her like that. Why would you even tell me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't care what she looked like. That would have connected at least one major dot for me of who I am. Even now, I can't answer medical history questions. That bothers me. It's just little things like that. Like what is so terrible that it warranted you rather having a person live with an permanent void in their life than sucking up and answering those questions so that they could live life as abundantly possible.
That is like living a lie your whole life.
Whole life. Lifetime gonna buy the store up there.
Oh, hey, you got a story, that's for sure. And then to know that you were denied, it was not left to you to make the choice to want to see your mother on her deathbed when she asked for you.
So you never forgot me. You know what I'm saying? Like that in
Right.
itself was like, oh my gosh, you didn't live your life like I existed. And I don't hate anybody in this situation that was involved. I mean, once you're an adult, you're able to see things from a more mature perspective and forgive and understand things that you previously were not. That's why when the Bible talks about when I became, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I thought as one, but when I became an adult, I put away all of that. So I put away all that. I'm mad at you. You left me. And I started to understand that sometimes people can only impact from their position of influence. So in her mind, she was doing what she figured to be better. You know what I'm saying? Like she could have aborted me. I couldn't have even been here to tell that story. So even now I honor her for that, because that had to have been a hard choice to figure out what's the right thing to do, and to find out that even in your last moments, you still considered me. And that was, it's almost like that connected a dot for me. Now I was like, I dealt with it a lot of years after that, because I felt like you don't get the right, even if I am a minor, you don't get the right to make that decision for me.
Right. And then even though you had those questions, that was confirmation for you to know that what your mom did, she did probably in the best interest for you, because she couldn't take care of you at the time, but she never forgotten about you. Even with her going through her drug addiction and all those different things, she still had enough of her right mind to know, I still have a child out there, and I wish I could see her before I leave and depart this world. That is, you know what? I can't speak for other people, because look, now I got this, I'm half holy, half hood over here, because the other side is just like, man, I wish I could just go fight for you right now, because that's a piece that you, like you said, a piece of the puzzle that you could have at least connected, and then you could have had a better connection with your mother and not feel as disconnected. Even though she was in her last days, at least you would have had some type of closure, knowing that what if you did have that conversation with your mom on her deathbed? She would have probably had a conversation with you for 10, 15 minutes, an hour, just to show you how much she really cared about you and why she did what she did. That's probably why she asked for you, and you were denied. You were literally denied that conversation. And that's just so not right.
But here we are.
Here we are. And then you talk about, when it comes to the word, forgiveness is always for you and not for the other person. So I'm thankful that you even have that in your heart to be like, you know what, when I was a child, I thought as a child, now I'm older, then I need, and I'm more mature. So I matured in, my faith and with my relationship with God and all these different things. And so you know how to deal with things in a different way. But deep down inside, I know there's still a lot of unanswered questions that you're still probably trying to tackle today. My heart goes out to you, Stephanie, because I can't even imagine being in your shoes, but there are people that are going through what you're going through right now. And hopefully, as they're sitting here watching and listening to this conversation, they see and they glean to, on and hold on to what you're saying about not having this hateful spirit, but having this spirit of, I know I was wronged or I went through all of this, but God still kept me.
That's right.
You know,
Hallelujah.
he still
And
kept.
bitterness is heavy. Anger is heavy. Hatred, all those things are so heavy, right? And that's why Jesus reminds us that, hey, if you switch your load with me, because I ain't carrying nothing, because I'm free. So you should switch your load for me with me. And then you can walk easy breezy. Every day won't be a perfect day, but I guarantee you your load will be lighter. And that's where I think walking in freedom and understanding that God wastes absolutely nothing was when I made that decision to exchange my weight for his.
Amen. Well, all I can say is I hope that even in the years to come, you continue to, heal. You continue to be able to find answers, because I know you're going to continue to want to know some answers, and hopefully, God bring those to light, right? So, be encouraged. All I can say is be
Definitely.
encouraged. I will continue to pray for you as well. Um, but I want to switch into now, talking about this new book that you got. We're going to get into that. I'm going to go to another commercial break. But I want to know, what this book is about. We want people to sit here and go buy this book. Just the title is off the chain. I was like, that's very creative right there. But just to kind of give them a little.
Yours is on its
Don't,
way.
don't, yeah, don't give them all the lemonade. Just give them a
Right.
little,
Little sample.
drop
Little sample.
about what it's about, and we'll go into that a little bit more as soon as we come right back.
All right.
Okay.
Let's pay some bills.
Dr. Yolanda Jerry is excited to announce her next anthology, My Walk Past Hell, Volume 2, The Men. This time it's all about the men. Men walk past hell just like women. The My Walk Past Hell anthology was an amazing experience for all of the women co-authors. They let out their innermost experiences and got a lot off of their chest. Many lives were changed, and most importantly, their stories led to deeper healing, and they became #1 bestsellers. That's why Dr. Jerry is offering this opportunity to the men, young or old, it doesn't matter. Your story deserves to be told, and you can change someone's life with simple words on a page. It's time to be heard. The world is waiting on you. Book your author spot today at hiswalkpasthell.com. That's www.hiswalkpasthell.com.
And there you have it. Hiswalkpasthell.com. That is by the phenomenal Dr. Yolanda Jerry. I'm a two by horn, right? Because guess what? God gave me that vision for the women, and he turned around and he said, guess what? These men need to share their story because men go through the same thing that women go through. They just don't expose it as much as we do. So now it's just time to start helping men heal in this world as well. And the only way we can do that is we as women also support them by sharing their story. So
right.
If you're interested, www.hiswalkpasthell.com. So now let's get into this lemonade. All right. So Stephanie, let's tell us about this book, the title of the book, how this book came about and what inspired you to, just basically split, put a whole bunch of lemonades together and start squeezing and oozing everything out.
Well, first I want to say it was literally like the birth of a natural baby. I was so tired of being pregnant carrying that baby. It was the book, which is titled "Are You There, God? My Lemonade Has No Sugar," started as a journal, actually, that I journal, and I kept hearing, write a book. I kept having dreams where my life was a movie. We got to get to that part too, girl. But and so little by little, I started writing it not as a journal entry, but as it was a story. I started to put the events that I had in chronological order. So at first, I started out trying to be all deep as a deep writer. And the Lord reminded me that no, that's not your assignment, just write. And so I just dumped, as they call it. I just wrote from my heart. And by the time I finished, so this is like a 10-year process. This is not something that I did in like 6 months. This was a 10-year process. It was a lot trying to figure out, what goes in. I had to go through actually dealing with the stuff that I was writing about, because there was one part where I refused to put that in the book. And literally it was almost like the Lord was like, well, you're not going to move forward until you understand that my will is prevalent. So I went ahead and put that part in the book, dealing with the trauma behind that, having to have some hard conversations with my husband. The whole world is seeing that, building myself up to understand that your family is going to be angry when they read this. But to be in a position to where it was like, well, you didn't fight for me, so I got to fight for myself. So here we are. What will be, will be. And I'm not that same little girl that was scared with her head tucked down anymore. So we got cameras and guns. Let's go. But the book just it's from my heart. I write it as if we are actually having a conversation. And I'm just honest. I'm completely honest in the book. And I was very nervous putting it out, but we finally got that baby on out of there and got them legs out the stirrups. Hallelujah. So definitely, please, if you get a chance, if you like, I don't know if I want to buy her book, you know what? Amazon will let you read a sample of it for free.
That's true. Very true. And I'm glad that and I'm gonna show everybody the cover of your book in a few minutes, and also how they can reach out to you and get the book too as well. But what I want to say is I'm glad that you shared that your family they're gonna be mad, they're gonna be pissed, they're gonna have all these temper tantrums, they're probably gonna shut you out, for the rest of their life, some of them.
Yeah, I did that.
But here's the thing. God told you to do it. Number two, it's your story, not theirs, and what you've gone through. So at the end of the day, it's your truth. God put you on this walk, and he set you out on a mission to be able to help other people in this world through your story, through your voice, through what you've gone through. Because our story is not for us to keep. It's for somebody else. And then when people start realizing that, this world would be such a greater place. It would be a better place, should I say, when we understand that, just because that wasn't your story, you didn't see that story that way. I'm the one that endured all of this trauma. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. Right. Let me go and put this lemonade out there with no sugar, because it's like, it's bitter, right? It's bitter. Right. It was my bitter slash sweet, right? So, but it's your bitterness, right? It's your bitterness without the sugar, but at the same time, guess what? It's your story, so that's why it's sweet, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and pop your little beautiful I'm here cover out here, because it does gleam like a whole bunch of sunlight when you pop it up on the screen, which I love. I love the colors. So here you go. You all see, there it is.
Look at my baby, y'all.
Her baby. This is, again, she said this has been 10 years in the making. 10 years, you guys, in the making. So make sure that you get a copy of her book. You can read a little snippet on it, as she said, on Amazon. There's her contact information where you can go to her website and read all of the good stuff about Stephanie and how to get her book, and also her email address too as well. Go to www.getyourlemonade.com, or you can email her at IamStephanieByrd, that's BYRD @gmail.com. I'm Absolutely. So proud of you, Stephanie. This is amazing.
Thank you, darling. And I'm so honored to be here, because I know you know what I'm saying? You're very choosy. You don't pick everybody for your squad. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just honored to be here with you today, because your girl made the cut, and I'm most appreciative.
Oh my goodness. Look now. Well, I ain't gonna lie. I am real little picky, about certain things that I do. But when it comes to everybody, when it comes to people's story, I try not to be picky in that area, because everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has different life experiences. And like I said, the world would be a greater place and a better place if we were able to put those stories out in the atmosphere, so we can help people heal around this world. So I'm just thinking you took time out to be on my show. Now, look, I'm just gonna go and put it out there. Y'all don't know that Stephanie is a comedian too. I don't, not only is she an author, right, and not only is she,
and then,
somebody.
Look, we gotta add this one because I don't know if you know this, and I'm sorry to cut you off. Your girl is now an international award-winning screenplay writer. Bollywood. Bro, so we got a script called Cameron's Haven, and it's inspired by the book. And we just put it out there in the atmosphere. And Bollywood, which is like India's Hollywood, awarded it best script. We just got greenlit to film. It is not even a film, it's still a script, and it's already winning awards. So it's like, you have complete permission to blow my mind, God. This is really happening. Yes.
God, see what happens when you do his work. See what happens when you listen and be humble. Y'all better listen and be humble. Look, don't be rushing God. He's on his own time. And when he tell you to move, you better move, because if you don't, he's going to give it to somebody else.
That part.
That is exciting, Stephanie. I am so happy for you. Congratulations. That is amazing. Now I can't wait. You say it's just a script. Now you're gonna have to tell me. I'm gonna have to know before everybody else know.
I will. All I know is that we are filming on location in Georgia. That's all I have right now. So we got to work out the not so fun stuff, like the money and the casting and all that other kind of stuff. But I was telling them, because these are not faith-based people, in the industry. And I'll be honest, I always in our meetings, you kind of feel this pressure to be like, well, I don't want to be like the holy roller. And all I can hear in my head is when I told the Lord, I want to make you famous. So I'll be like, God, they'll be like, well, we need this. I'm like, God's will, his bill. And they kind of laugh it off, right? But I was like, this is really something. And they're like, we've never, got a response this fast from festivals. I'm like, it's God, it ain't us. So definitely still in everything that we do, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's up, whether it's down, it is all geared to bring glory to God. So don't feel bad about not sharing, about not saying even the dirty stuff, right? Because that's even, God told a tax collector, he was stealing money from people. He was grimy, and God was like, you want to go to lunch? So don't ever disregard any part of who you are, because it's all for the glory of God.
That's true. That's so very true. And no matter, like you said, even if the baby's ugly, God is still in control, and he's going to bring it to light sooner or later for his glory. And guess what? It's going to be your story when he do it.
Hallelujah.
So Stephanie, before we close out tonight, I want you to share, I know you just shared, your book, about your book being published and your script being picked up, and how you're going to be filming soon in Georgia. And then you're going to let me know before everybody else knows about where we're at and when it's going to happen.
I got you.
But do you have any other upcoming projects and anything else on the horizon that, God has given to you for you to work on? And then not only that, once you share that, I also want you to share what is something that you want to share from your heart for the viewers and for the people that's watching and listening, that they can hold on to, digest it, and just be able to say, what Stephanie provided to me was very helpful, and I might implement some of this stuff to help me along my healing journey.
So there's not really anything. I'm again super busy, just still trying to promote the book, getting excited, getting that up, still telling jokes on the weekend. So it's hard to keep all these dates. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm Stephanie Byrd on all social media. I don't know what my IG handle is, but I'm pretty sure if you type Stephanie Byrd, it'll pop me up. But what I want to tell everyone watching, or if you don't remember anything else we talked about, keep going. Keep going. Everything is predestined. Every step that you're on, even if it feels like you're dangling off the edge of a step, even if it feels like you're hanging on off a mountain with one arm, even if it feels like you're in hell looking up, keep going, because there is no place that you can go. There is nothing that can happen to you that God won't extend his hand to let you know that he is still connected to you. So keep going. Whatever you do. I mean, I don't care if I ate 5 cupcakes today, I ate 4 tomorrow, then you still did better than yesterday, and count it all joy. Count it all joy. There have been a lot of days, this smile that people see that they're so in love with, and I thank God for that, but it wasn't always there. So in order for it to get there, I had to keep going. So keep going.
I love that. Keep going. Just like the song says, we fall down, but we get back up, right? So even if you fall down or you may see things as failures, your failures are going to lead you to your success. And that's just how I see it. You got to fail in order to succeed. Otherwise, everybody will be successful, right? And you're all right. But I appreciate you sharing that. Just keep going, no matter what comes your way. Continue to seek God, number one, because that's where your help comes from. But at the same time, just keep going. So thank you so much, Stephanie. I'm going to pop your book back up on the screen so people can see the cover. Make sure that you get her book. It's on Amazon. Go to her website. You can go to her website to get her information. You can also send her an email as well. But her website, again, is www.getyourlemonade.com. And her email is IamStephanieByrd@gmail.com. Oh, Stephanie, thank you so much for being my special guest today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I look forward to all the great things that God continues to do for you and will continue to do for you. I'm always following people, because I love to celebrate them when they're doing great things, and also share even with my tribe and my platform. So continue to stay connected. I look forward to this movie or this play, whatever it is that's coming.
It's gonna be a movie. It's gonna be a movie now. It's gonna be a feature film. So yeah.
All right, a movie.
But I definitely will keep you posted.
Feature film, a movie. Y'all heard her. So look, I know we can ready to get off of here, but can you tell us a joke? I just want one joke. Can you give us one joke? Y'all want to hear a joke? Because look, there's people watching now. Y'all put in the comments.
Hard. It's so funny. Everybody does comedians like that. They're like, just give us one joke. Let me see, because now you make our brains go blank when you do it like that. Like, it's not like I got a joke Rolodex and I go to the J's for Jerry and then find a little joke. But it
could be.
I can't think of one. That's so sad. You look. Now you done discredited my whole career. You did. I can't think.
Look, okay, I'm gonna take y'all to spot.
I can't think of that joke. You put me on the spot.
I'm sorry. Look, I do it all the time. There's another comedian on here too, because I do it to him too. Lee Wright, he's another comedian. I'd be like, tell me a joke. Look, right. Let her see, there you go. Let her know it don't work like that.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? They trying to pimp the gift, friend. We was prepared to be, especially if you prepared to be serious. That takes a lot of work for a comedian to hone all that in and we're not gonna embarrass nobody. We're gonna be serious and she's gonna be proud of us. And then they hit you at the end cut up. And you're like, wait, I wasn't prepared for that. That is amazing. Definitely, I'm gonna follow him for sure on Facebook. Shout out to you.
Yes, he's doing some great things. He's now also working on his speaking platform too. So he's about to be out there too. Yes. And he's also, I'm just going to go and let you know, he's going to be a part of that Dr. Jerry's tribe. He's going to be one of those people that kids walk past hell. So be on the lookout for more from him. And continue to make connections. I tell people, make connections wherever you can, because collaboration leads to success. You can't do everything on your own. Collaboration leads to success. So thank you, Stephanie, so much.
Thank you.
And tell the hubby I said, hey.
I will. He's still alive, so we're doing good.
See, look, there you go. That a joke.
I ain't killed him until Jesus died, so we all right.
I cannot. She said, I killed him and told Jesus he died. OMG. Oh, my goodness. You are hilarious. See, look, we still got a little jokey joke out of Stephanie Byrd. Well, look, you guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show tonight. With Miss Stephanie Byrd. Go get her book. I will pop it up on the screen. Again, her information. Please go get her book. Support her. She is doing great things.
Let my babies be able to see what cheese tastes like on the burger. Buy a book.
There you go with the joking jokes again. connect with her. She's a bundle of joy, a great person to be around. She's moving and shaking and doing things in the foster care world. She's doing things to bring light to a lot of issues around this world too as well. So again, connect with Stephanie Byrd. Make sure you tune in to the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to the future guests that's coming on this show, because next week we got another one. And she's going to be coming with a lot of great knowledge too as well. So again, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, happy Thursday and have a blessed weekend. And talk to you all again soon. I am Dr. Yolanda Jerry, also known as the Empowerment Advocate, and we are out.